You know how you sometimes see something listed for free on Facebook and think, well, how bad could it be? That was the case with these 6 wood and iron dining chairs. They were listed for free, and even though I'd never done any seat upholstery in my life, I figured worst case scenario, I learned something. Best case scenario, I end up with 6 pretty nice chairs. When I picked them up, all that remained were the original seat boards. So my first task was to unscrew all of them and start removing the remnants of the old material and padding. Once everything was stripped down, I filled a bucket with soap and water, gave the chairs a good scrubbing, and rinsed everything off with the garden hose. It was possibly the most satisfying part of the entire project. I noticed that one of the chairs was missing a screw, so I inspected all of them and discovered there were 7 missing screws in total. I removed one of the existing ones, brought it to the hardware store with me, found a match, and came back with replacements so I could secure all of the missing hardware. There were lots of tiny chips and scratches along the metal, and I really didn't want to repaint the entire frame. So I pulled out some of my touch-up markers, hoping they might camouflage the damage. Unfortunately, they really didn't stick to the shiny finish. So I picked up some bronze color spray paint and gave those chipped areas a light spritz. I had to be careful not to cover up the variegated original color. The wooden edges had quite a few scuffs and scratches, so I gave everything a light sanding, wiped it down with a damp cloth, and then hand-applied a dark walnut gel stain, wiping it back almost immediately. The stain helped, but it didn't really hide the marks the way I'd hoped. So I pulled out my Mohawk Blend-All sticks and started doing some color matching. I'd put some on, smudge it with my finger to blend it in, and do it again. It worked a little bit, but it still wasn't covering all those nicks and dings the way I wanted. So at that point, it was on to Plan C. I grabbed a can of spray stain and gave everything another light spritz. And surprisingly, that finally did the trick. Now, am I proud of my somewhat haphazard color correction techniques on these chairs? No, but hey, it's a learning experience. With the frames finished, it was finally time to start the reupholstering. I spent about $140 in materials, including a really nice taupe brown upholstery fabric. The foam padding and batting arrived in these tiny vacuum-sealed packages, which shocked me at first until I spent 20 minutes wrestling each one while they slowly expanded to full size. Next, I traced the outline of each seat board onto a 1-inch foam padding. I stuck with 1 inch because the chairs were already on the higher side and I wanted to make sure they'd still fit comfortably under a dining table. Then I cut out a large square of the upholstery fabric, leaving enough material to wrap around the edges and staple underneath. I didn't have any spray adhesive on hand, so I tried using regular glue on the seat and set the foam on top. In truth, it probably didn't do much. With the foam in place, I loosely draped the batting over it, then laid the upholstery fabric on top and flipped the whole thing over. At first, I had started stapling the batting separately, but after my first test run, I realized I could skip that step and staple the batting and fabric together. Since I had never done seat upholstery before, I looked up the recommended technique online. The idea was to put one staple in the center of one side, then another staple directly across from it on the opposite side. Then rotate the seat and repeat on the other 2 sides, keeping the fabric taut and making sure there were no wrinkles. From there, I worked outward from the center points, stapling further and further until I reached the corners. When I got to the corners, I trimmed away some of the excess material, created one neat fold on each corner, and secured it with several staples. Then I trimmed away the remaining material, making sure not to cover the holes where the seat would screw back onto the chair. And here's what the first chair cover looked like. It was getting dark in my living room while I was filming, but I attached the cambric material, or a dust cover, to the underside. That piece hides all the loose fabric edges and gives the seat a much more professional finish. When it came time to add the cambric dust cover on the underside, I added one small step that turned out to be really helpful. I poked a tiny hole in all 4 corners of the cambric so I could easily identify where the screw holes were when it was time to reattach the seat to the chair frame. With that first one finished, I went back and cut out all the remaining foam, the batting, and the upholstery pieces. Then I basically created a little assembly line and worked through the other 5 seat covers one by one. Once I figured out a system, the rest actually went pretty quickly. Then it was finally time to reattach all 6 seats. This part was a little trickier than I expected. Trying to line up the screws so they would hit the original holes in the seat boards took a little patience. But eventually everything lined up and I was able to secure all 6 seat backs onto the chairs. But before I call the project finished, there was one more thing that was still bothering me from the day before. Those little scratches that remained on some of the iron legs. So I pulled out my wood finishing paints and hand painted what was probably 100 tiny dings and scratches across all 6 chairs. It was tedious, but it was worth it. I think the brown tweed upholstery looks really nice against the wood tones and the iron scroll work. Ideally, I probably would have used thicker foam padding, but the chairs were already on the taller side, and I didn't want them too high under the table. For my first attempt at reupholstering chairs, I'm actually pretty pleased with how they came out. My color matching experiments on the wood and the iron legs, let's just say those were a little bit more experimental. But at least now I know how to do that better next time. As for whether I'll flip another set of chairs again like this, well, let's see if these sell first. My name is Meg, and I show you practical tips for refinishing and flipping furniture. Be sure to hit the follow button for more.